Good morning, everyone. I want to thank you for joining us for the Readmission REFUEL Project Information webinar. We have a couple brief housekeeping items to cover before we start our session this morning. We ask that you please take a moment and check your phone lines or computer audio and make sure that you are muted. We appreciate your attention to this as it does help us avoid background noise during our session. We also ask if you need to step away from the session today, please avoid placing the call on hold so we don't have your call waiting background music playing into the line. This is a project information call and we expect that many of you will have questions as we move through the session. Please utilize the chat box throughout the webinar to type in questions as they come to mind. If you have a question, someone else likely does as well, so please don't hesitate to put those into the chat. I'll be pausing throughout today's session to moderate questions from the chat, and additionally, we'll have an open Q&A at the end. At that time, we'll finish answering questions that have been submitted through the chat and also give participants a chance to unmute their phone lines and ask questions aloud. Lastly, this session will be recorded and transcribed. It will be posted to Innovation in approximately 5 business days so that you can access it and share it with other members of your team. I want to welcome you all and thank you so much for joining us this morning. My name is Kate Carpenter and I serve as a Quality Improvement Advisor for the Compass HIN. I'm also the project lead for the Readmissions REFUEL project. To say that we are excited about this project launch would be an understatement. We have a team that's been planning and preparing the Readmissions REFUEL project for months, and it has been so exciting to see your reactions and your interest in this work as we've released some of the preliminary project information leading up today. We appreciate your time and consideration in this project and in this important work. So here is the agenda for today's project information webinar. We're going to give a brief Compass HIN overview. We're going to share HIN program goals in a nutshell, review the current HIN readmission progress to date, talk about why REFUEL, give a REFUEL project overview, cover next steps, and also, of course, your questions and have some open discussion at the end. If you're attending today's session, then you represent a facility who is a part of the Compass HIN network. Our HIN is a partnership between the Iowa Healthcare Collaborative and South Dakota Association of Healthcare Organizations. We serve about 153 hospitals across Iowa, South Dakota, and Illinois. And while we do serve hospitals of all sizes, in this area of the country, it will likely not surprise you that we're comprised of approximately 80% critical access or rural hospitals. Hopefully this is a refresher for most of you, but I want to make sure to remind everyone that the HIN started in October of 2016 and ends in September of 2019. Over this 3-year period, all HINs are working on these 2 Partnership for Patients goals. The goals are to reduce all-cause patient harm by 20% and to reduce 30-day readmissions by 12%. So we're currently a little over 14 months into this 3-year period, and I'd like to show you next how we are performing so far as a network on reducing readmissions. This table illustrates first and second year targets for readmissions reductions and the correlating year 1 actual performance. It also shows 3-month performance kind of over the summer months, and you can see that our collective performance in year 1 actual shows negative improvement, meaning our Compass HIN network has shown an increase in readmissions during the first performance period of the HIN. Encouragingly, though, we did see some improvement in readmissions over the summer. In fact, we saw a 2.8 improvement in readmissions to any hospital and a 4.5 improvement in readmissions to same hospital during May through July of 2017. This sort of makes sense when we think about our readmission trends by season. As we all know, readmissions tend to be higher in the winter and early spring months, and oftentimes we see them lower throughout the summer months. But you can see we still have work to do individually in our hospitals and together as a network to reduce readmissions in order to meet that 12% readmissions reduction goal. So that brings us to our 2018 Compass HIN readmissions reduction progress we're calling REFUEL. I think we can all agree that readmissions is something that we've worked on for years, and as I mentioned earlier, I'm an improvement advisor for the HIN, so one of my responsibilities is to provide both virtual and on-site assistance and coaching for hospitals in our network. So I really do know and understand from being there in your hospitals with you the work and effort that you have all invested into readmissions work to date. The thing is, and I think most of us that work on readmissions can relate to this, this work is like the laundry. It's never really done. About the time every basket is through the wash and put away, there's something else that needs washed. And so, like most tasks that are ongoing, we can become stagnant, the work can kind of lose its flair, and our zest for it can understandably become depleted. The truth is that the road to reducing readmissions is a challenging one that requires incredible endurance, stamina, and the ability to constantly adapt. This kind of work can be exhausting, and I've heard many of you tell me on the road, sometimes you just kind of run out of steam on it. You run out of energy, you run out of resources, you run out of time, and so on, and I get that. This is why this January 2018, we are inviting you to join us as we refuel our readmissions efforts during a 3-phase project over the course of 6 months. This is an action-driven project, and it has been designed to accommodate motivated facilities of all sizes. Each phase will contain opportunities to customize the project work to your facility and refuel your readmissions teams, ideas, visions, strategies, and resources, and help refuel you to succeed in the challenge to reducing readmissions. Last month, we did send out a project flyer and this project outline. We have made a few small changes as our team has made final preparations for the launch today. So we would ask if you've got a previous version of this document to go ahead and toss away the first copy and use the one made available today for the duration of the project. We will be posting this overview along with our slides from the presentation today on Hinnovation for your access. If you'd like a copy emailed to you, please contact me after the session and I would be happy to provide that. So what is our purpose? The purpose of this cohort is to support the Partnership for Patients goal to reduce 30-day readmissions by 12%. This project begins in January and will run through June of 2018, spanning 6 months. You will see that the project is broken down into 3 phases, each designed to address specific topics and containing specific action items for hospitals. We are looking for leaders to lead this project in your hospitals. So the leader could be a quality person or a patient navigator. Maybe it's a case manager or even a doc. This could be a hospital administrator. Really, it could be anyone who is dedicated to reducing readmissions and leading this action and results-focused project. Whomever leads this project will need to assemble a team to assist them in the different phases. So let's talk about your readmissions teams or your refuel team for this project. First, our project guide will give you guidance on who you should include in each project phase. And it's important to note that the teams are scalable to facility size and to your resources. Some of you are thinking, no problem, we've got a team, we've got a readmissions team ready to go. If my readmissions team were a car, we'd be show floor material. We're well equipped, we have a good navigation system, we are efficient, we're agile, and I'm confident we could get this project work done. On the other hand, I know some of you are on the line thinking, team. We don't have a team, or maybe you used to have a team, or you're really not sure if you can get a team together. I hear some of you on the line, and I can just hear you in my head saying, Kate, you know, I am the team. If something needs done around here, I do it. Others of you are saying, well, if our team were a car, it'd be kind of a clunker, but we have one. And I know some of you are thinking, well, we might not be the Rolls Royce, but we definitely have a team. It's nothing fancy, but we get the job done, and I'm sure we could do this. So again, you're going to need some help, but remember, your team doesn't need to be perfect or fancy or big. It just needs to get the job done, and we have our project team ready to support you. Okay, so now let's talk about the reporting requirements for participating in the REFUEL project. As a participant in the Compass HIN, someone at your hospital is reporting your claims data. How you do this does vary state to state. For the project, we would ask that Iowa and South Dakota participants continue reporting your claims data to IPOP. This will feed 30-day readmissions data to both SAME and any hospital readmissions measures. We would encourage our participants to submit their claims data to IHA monthly versus quarterly, if at all possible, to help decrease the lag time. Illinois participants should self-report readmissions data to the HIN reporting database on a monthly basis. There will be no new measures for the REFUEL project. We'll also be collecting additional information from you throughout the project via SurveyMonkey. Many of you are familiar with this tool, and for those of you that are not, SurveyMonkey is an online survey development company. They provide customizable surveys as well as a suite of back-end programs that include data analysis and representation tools that our project team will use to understand your responses and allow us to share them back with you as an aggregate. There will be 5 short surveys total. This slide shows each survey, when the survey will be sent via email to your project lead, and when that survey is due. I want to emphasize that the surveys are not a report card. Rather, they're a mechanism for your team to track progress of the cohort throughout the project and be able to demonstrate the project pre- and post-survey findings. I would like to pause at this time and check the chat to see if anybody has any questions up to this point. Give me just a moment to navigate there. Okay, it doesn't appear any questions have come in yet, so we'll keep plugging along. Now what I would like to do is spend some time walking you through each phase of the project. First is project preparation. Like any project, you're going to do some project preparation. This can start any time following today's call and may last up until phase 1 begins. During this phase, you're going to determine your REFUEL project leader. You're going to review the Readmissions REFUEL project guide. You're going to attend the Readmissions REFUEL project information webinar we're on today. And if you're not available for this live session, we will ask that you listen to the recording. We'll ask that you email Kate Carpenter at the email address listed with your commitment to participate by December 31st. Complete the REFUEL project pre-survey by January 1. And then begin identifying an executive sponsor to support your participation in this project. So some of you are thinking, well, what's this REFUEL project guide she keeps talking about? And in order to feed your curiosity, I'm going to give you a quick sneak peek of that guide so that you have a visual of what we've prepared for our participants as we move through these final slides. Give it just a second to load here. Okay, so this is the guide that we have prepared for those that do commit to participating in the REFUEL project. I'm gonna make it just slightly smaller so we can see the whole thing. You'll see it has a table of contents. You can easily navigate through the document. You'll see it does contain the project flyer and also the project overview with the project timeline. You'll see that we've included the document that describes the reporting requirements and indicates to you when each of the 5 surveys will be sent and are due. And then I have provided you a phase-by-phase document that details the time frame for that particular project phase, your to-do list for that phase of the project, and on the bottom of each of these documents list the webinar information for that phase, along with any resources that we're providing you in advance to help you navigate through that phase. So that's the prep phase. And then scroll down through phase 1. Once again, you can see the phases listed. The team members that we recommend you include in the phase are listed. Again, you have your to-do list for the phase and the webinar link. And at the bottom, some of the resources that we're going to be providing ahead of time to help you navigate through the phase. Now showing phase 2, the overview. And the same goes for phase 3 and also the post-project information. Lastly, we do give contact information for the project contacts. And finally, a resource page that combines all the resources provided in advance during each phase of the project and has links to each of these. This document is linked. And you can always use the REFUEL logo here to help you click back to the top, regardless of which page of the document you are in. Okay. So a little preview of that document. And again, this is a guide those of you that participate will be receiving via email following your enrollment. Okay, so let's start into phase 1. Phase 1 will begin on January 10th and will last through February 27th. During this phase, you will attend the phase 1 webinar on January 10th. You'll be obtaining your executive sponsor to support your participation. You'll develop your REFUEL team and identify which team members will be active during each phase of the REFUEL project. We'll be asking you and helping you analyze your current readmissions related data to help you determine your current state and your areas of greatest opportunity. We'll ask that you select a patient population for the project and create a standard definition for that population. We'll encourage you to gather any additional baseline data that you have available that could be used to help you track your performance with this patient population throughout the project. We'll ask you to complete the phase 1 SurveyMonkey due by February 16th and encourage you to please request coaching if needed throughout phase 1. Next is phase 2. It runs from February 28th through April 10th. During this phase, you will attend the phase 2 webinar on February 28th. You'll be conducting readmission interviews. We'll be giving you a template to conduct these interviews, which will help you better understand the root cause for readmissions from the patient and the caregiver perspective. We'll help you customize an unmet needs and enhanced service profile. Again, this is a tool that we have developed and made a customizable template for to aid you in doing this action item. We'll plan and initiate your facility-specific rapid cycle improvement project. In this action item, you gain flexibility to identify an improvement project that plays a role in readmissions. This might be a new project that you take on, or it might be a process that is currently in place that you're choosing to fine tune, maybe a existing document or workflow that needs improved. We'll talk more about this during phase 2, and we'll be providing you with a list of rapid cycle improvement projects to get you thinking of ideas. We'll ask that you complete the phase 2 SurveyMonkey by April 6th, and again, encourage you to request coaching throughout phase 2 as needed. Phase 3 is next and will begin on April 11th. During this phase, you'll attend the phase 3 webinar on the 11th, engage and educate the ED on readmissions reduction efforts. You'll be implementing or improving your process for utilizing a flag. You'll be creating or optimizing a treat and return pathway. We'll ask that you complete the phase 3 SurveyMonkey by June 13th. And again, encourage you to request coaching if needed. Finally, we'll enter the post-project period. Post-project work will commence on July 23rd. It's difficult to know at this time, of course, how the project may morph and what the needs of the group may be following the project, but we do commit that during the post-project period, we'll offer a project wrap-up webinar and ask that you complete a post-survey that we can use to share project results. We'll be sharing project results with you as they are made available. And we know that there is an inherent delay to readmissions data, and it will take some time to fully appreciate any reductions in readmissions rates following the project. We'll continue to share that data as it's available post-project, along with any lessons learned and hospital success sharing. Here's a summary of what commitments are necessary on behalf of your hospital should you choose to participate in the REFUEL project. We'll ask you again to identify an executive sponsor to support your participation, to assemble your REFUEL team, to continue to submit IPOP readmissions data, preferably on a monthly basis, to complete all 5 SurveyMonkeys, to complete your to-do list during each phase to the very best of your ability, to be open to sharing your challenges and success with the rest of the cohort, to having at least one team member present on all 3 webinars. We'll be encouraging you to include your team members, any team members that are playing an active role in the phase that we're currently in, to join you. However, we do understand at times that's not feasible, and the requirement, again, is that you have at least one team member present on each of the 3 project webinars to bring the details back to your team. And so for those of you who do decide to commit to the project, we have some things we'd like to offer to support you throughout the project period. These offers do include the phase-by-phase project guide, sharing of pre- and post-survey results, hospital-specific 30-day readmissions data analysis and support, sharing of evidence-based resources, sharing of customized tools that you can use to implement at your own facility, list of project deadlines, expert speakers and facilities, and then local and national recognition of your work. So the bottom line, it doesn't matter if you're big or if you're small, if you already have a readmissions team assembled, or maybe you don't. If you've got lots of resources dedicated to readmissions, or maybe you have few, if you're new to this work, or if you've been doing it for years. If you are committed to reducing readmissions, get your team in the car, whatever car that looks like, and come refuel with us. I want to talk now briefly about how to participate. Now that I've shared the project with you, hopefully some of you are wondering how to get enrolled. You must enroll to participate, and you can do this by emailing Kate Carpenter at the email address given by December 31st. Use the following subject line. Please list your hospital and say ready to refuel, and we will get your name added to the REFUEL distribution list. Next steps. After I do receive your commitment to participation via email, then you will be receiving the REFUEL Participant Project Guide, along with the SurveyMonkey link for the REFUEL pre-survey, once again due by January 1st. Also, I'd like to remind you, if you opt to participate, we want you to get registered for the Phase 1 Project Kickoff webinar that will be taking place January 10th at 11 o'clock. Okay, and so now I would like to open it up for questions. I'll start first with the chat, so give me just a moment to pull that up, and then we will be opening up the lines for questions. Just one moment. Okay, the first question I'd like to moderate through the chat is, when and how do I get the survey? And can I see the questions in the survey before I need to take it? The surveys will be sent out according to the webinar slides on a schedule. Again, there's a slide that lists the dates that they are sent and the dates that they are due. You usually have at least a week to complete those surveys. We do ask that the same person complete each survey. Oftentimes that will default to the project lead, but it could be a task delegated to a member of your REFUEL team. You won't be seeing the questions before the survey link is sent, but certainly if you have questions about the questions, questions about the questions on the survey, we'll encourage you to reach out to me and I'd be happy to talk you through those. The second question is, who will be doing the coaching? Will it be our improvement advisor, or are you doing all of the coaching? That is a really good question. To be honest, the answer to that is we don't know yet. It will depend on what type of coaching you request. So for example, during phase 1, we may have a hospital that says, I could use some coaching getting an executive sponsor. I'm not sure how to approach our leadership, or I've got some pushback, or could you help me present this idea to them? And we'll deploy one of our resources to come help and assist the hospital with that. We may get a request during phase 1 that says, I really need somebody to come on site and help me review the readmissions data we have available. We get reports from our ACO, or we have internal reports we run, plus we have the reports from IHC. I need somebody to kind of help, outside eyes, help me look at this. We may deploy a member from our IHC data team to assist you with that need. If you have a process improvement or performance improvement coaching request, depending on the request, it's certainly possible that we might utilize your individual improvement advisors to come on site and help fulfill those needs. But also, I intend on doing quite a bit of the coaching in regards to that for this project myself. Additionally, we have Sarah Pavelka on staff here as faculty, and so we'll be utilizing her areas of expertise for coaching requests in regards to process or performance improvement. Maybe you're going to take a look at your polypharmacy population. Maybe that's going to be the patient population you're looking at. And maybe we're going to send some of our staff pharmacists or faculty pharmacists to help provide you technical assistance. The coaching that we deploy to you will be very specific to your request. We'll do everything we can to help support you regardless of what you need coaching for. The next question is, will the slides for today's presentation be available for facilities to use to go back to their administrative team for project approval? That's a great question. Thanks for sending that in. Later on today, we'll be posting this slide presentation along with some supporting documents, so you can pull those off and send those to your administrative team. Absolutely, we'll make them available right away, so you have those available to you Additionally, I will be displaying my contact on the screen as we close out the session, and if it's documents that you would like emailed, I'm happy to send them that way as well. Lots of people wanting the PowerPoint, so I'm happy to see that. We'll make sure, again, we have it available later on today on Innovation, and again, if you'd like an emailed copy, please contact myself or your improvement advisor. We'll get it to you. Can you repeat what is in the byline to register by email to you? Absolutely. Let me just flip back a slide. So if your hospital's name is Carpenter Community Hospital, I'm just going to ask that you put Carpenter Community Hospital ready to refuel. That way, when I see the subject line, here it is on this slide, bottom line, I can identify your facility name, and I know that you're emailing me in regards to the refuel project. Okay, I think I have worked my way through the email or through the questions submitted through the chat box. I'm going to forward back to our place in the slideshow quickly. And now I am going to unmute the lines. Before I do that, I want to remind you all to look down briefly at your telephones and make sure you are on mute if you're not speaking, so that we aren't hearing your background conversations. I have unmuted the lines. Does anybody have a question they'd like to ask aloud? Go ahead and unmute your line. If you have the question, likely someone else does too. Any questions on next steps or how to enroll in participation? Any questions on the reporting requirements? Very good. I'll leave the lines unmuted. If you have a question, go ahead and speak up here as we navigate through the last slide or two. Okay, well, lastly, if we don't have any additional questions, I would like to thank you all for attending today's REFUEL project information webinar. I appreciate your consideration in this project and your commitment to reducing readmissions. Our HIN has achieved some great success in 2017 thanks to your hard work and dedication to quality and safety. If you do have remaining questions following the webinar, maybe you don't want to ask aloud to the group, I would encourage you to reach out to me via phone or email, and I'd be happy to help you however I can. My contact information is listed on the screen. Once again, thank you so much for joining us, and have a wonderful day and a wonderful Christmas. I'll be leaving the lines open for the next 5 minutes or so for those of you who'd like to hang on the line and ask a question. Thanks again. Have a great day.